Hello and welcome to FIA Pure Motorsport. On this week's episode, we follow the European Historic Rally Championship to the beautiful island of Elba. We'll meet one of the most promising talents in rally sport, 22-year-old Latvian Martin Sešks. And we'll have great Formula Regional action from Valencia. And much, much more from the FIA World of Motorsport. Round 7 of the 2021 FIA European Historic Rally Championship is held in Italy, with the 33rd edition of the Rally Elba Storico being the host event. Elba is a Mediterranean island in Tuscany, 10 kilometers from the coastal town of Piombino. Elba has more recently become famed for its wine and as a tourist destination. Since 1968, the Rally Storico has been held on Elba. The first special stage of Leg 1 is 7.49 kilometers long and takes place on Thursday evening. It leads, among other things, through the narrow streets of the small village of Capoliveri, a great spectacle for the 4,000 inhabitants and many tourists.
And square right, 5 left over crest, square left. So square right, 5 left over crest, square left.
The next day is a day of failures. Several of the leading EHRC contenders failed to make it to the end of the day. The Audi Quattro of Zippo and Nicola Arena has an accident on special stage 2. The Audi's front right wheel pointing in the wrong direction, but the crew is okay. The Lancia Delta Integrale of Lucky and Fabrizia Pons also fails to make it to the end of the day after an oil pump failure. The BMW M3 of the Italian crew Gabriele Nobaresco and Giacomo Ciucci is the top EHRC eligible car at the end of the first leg. The BMW lies 11.4 seconds ahead of the Porsche 911 SC of Karl Wagner and Gerd Zeuner. A good result for the Austrians, as a problem with their fuel pump hampered them most of the day as well. Other teams are within striking distance. Third place goes to the Porsche 911 RS of Paolo Pasutti. Followed by Ernie and Karen Graham in their Ford Escort RS 1800. The Opel Kadett C GTE of Wojtek Steif finishes day 1 in 5th position overall. The second leg features 5 stages. The Battle of the Rally is in Category 2. That's cars manufactured between 1970 and 1976, with the Opel Kadett of Wojtek Steif and Vladimir Zelinka, the Porsche 911 of Paolo Pasutti and Giovanna Campais, and the Ford Escort of Ernie and Karen Graham going head-to-head. Ernie Graham is able to keep in touch with the Opel and the Porsche, but he can't take the fight to them. In the end, the sympathetic couple finishes in 4th place.
Long, 5 right.
Wojtek Steif is on a charge, the Czech driver outpacing Pasutti's Porsche on 4 of the 5 stages. In the end, he not only wins Category 2, but also finishes 2nd overall. A great placing for the team in the Opel Kadett C GTE. But the second leg is dominated by the yellow Porsche with plate number 9. Karl Wagner and Gerd Zeuner, who were frustrated by the problems from the day before, managed to replace the defective fuel pump and are unstoppable on day 2. The Austrians set the fastest time on all 5 stages, moving up the overall order and heading Category 3.
Today it was perfect day. Yes, the car is running like it always did. Mechanics make a great job. Thanks to a friend, we get a new fuel pump. Yeah, now we are happy to be here.
The first win of the season for Karl Wagner and Gerd Zeuner. Wojtek Steif in 2nd place and Paolo Pasutti finishes in 3rd. Historic rallying is a fascinating sport. Beautiful old cars with a great past race against each other in iconic locations. But there's one thing that makes historic rally so special, which is the big difference to other racing series: the special relationship between the teams and their cars. There are many reasons to race a historic car. Having the fastest and most powerful car is very rarely the reason. Very often, drivers fulfill a dream that has lasted for a long time. In their yellow Porsche 911 SC, Karl Wagner and Gerda Zeuner are four-time European Historic Rally champions.
For me, it was always a dream to drive a Porsche. So when I was 40 years old, I started with building up this car, and we started racing. And so for many years we became friends. Sometimes I hate the car, sometimes I love it.
Gerda Zeuner is the co-driver at rallies. In her private life, she loves to be behind the wheel of a 911 herself.
I love the shape also. From when I was a young girl, I had a friend who owned an old Porsche in white, and I always said, if I can afford it, I will buy a black 911.
Siegfried Meyer's Volvo 244 was built in 1979. The 59-year-old bought it in 2014. For him, historic rally is the cheapest way to live his great passion.
This car I bought for €1,500, put in a roll cage, and now I have a modification with the engine, but it's all together about €10,000, and I can drive all over Europe. This car, it's very reliable. It's easy and technical, and I can all repair by myself.
Andrea Zippo-Zivian was looking for a challenge, so he chose the Audi Quattro, the iconic German rally car from the 80s, of which only 220 were built.
When I started in the historic car in 2011, I want to check to have one car that no one have. Okay, so the Porsche is the majority car in the historic. I check, okay, no, Audi is not in the historic. Okay, I bought one Audi, and I bought this car in Sweden. The day after I bought the car, I bring to my home, and immediately we broke the engine. Okay, immediately. So, but there is not a lot of paper of this car. If you bought one Porsche, you can choose from a lot of spare parts and improvement car. In the Audi, no. So we make a lot of tests and check for improve this car.
Ernie and Karen Graham have been married for almost 30 years. When they had their first date, Ernie was driving a Ford Escort.
So the Escorts were on road cars when I was young, so I identify. I remember Ernie, when I first met Ernie, he was driving a Ford Escort as a road car, so we're from that era.
Ford Escort was my first car. I've rallied Ford Escorts for nearly 30 years. We know them really well. It's an iconic car in the world of rallying, and it's a joy to be driving it again in a way that it was intended to.
And Ernie makes full use of the 250 horsepower of his classic car. The Grahams want to compete with the other teams, and their car helps them achieve good results.
I guess the car is reasonably reliable, but it handles really well. It sounds fantastic. We say it plays music. Yeah, so it's a buzz.
A feeling that all the drivers of historic rally cars have in common, and they wouldn't trade for anything in the world.
All right. I'm crashed and wrong, open 4 lap tightens.
For the 8th round of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, certified by FIA, a constantly rich grade grows even more at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. 34 drivers are ready to race this weekend. In race 1, Franco Colapinto starts from pole position, and by his side is the Spaniard David Vidales. At the start, number 12 Vidalis is faster than Colapinto, and he comes close to the Argentinian at the first corner, but manages to overtake him for a moment. However, the MP Motorsport driver is great in reconquering the lead in turn number 2 when the Spaniard goes a little bit wide. Behind the two are rookie Mari Boya and Russian driver Mikhail Belov. While Alex Quinn stays in 6th, Eduardo Barrichello attacks number 35 Pietro Deliguati. Championship leader Gregoire Saucy, starting from the 10th position after having been slowed down during the qualifying due to technical problems, loses a couple of positions and will end up finally in 12th. The two leaders, Colapinto and Vidalis, continue their battle, with the Spaniard pressing and hoping for a mistake by the Argentinian. Boya in 3rd position loses distance and will finally end up more than 3.6 seconds back from the lead, but still conquering a fantastic podium. The second win of the season for the Argentinian, Vidalis comes in 2nd, and the first podium finish for the 17-year-old Boya. In race 2, Mikhail Belov starts from the pole position in front of Franco Colapinto. Behind those two is the championship leader Gregoire Saucy, who, after the issues he had behind the steering wheel on Saturday, is back among the first positions. At the start, Belov is faster than Colapinto, but Saucy is attacked by Isaac Hajar. But the Frenchman can't pass the Swiss. Shortly after the start, Dino Beganovic is stopped by technical problems after setting the best lap time of the race. Halfway through the race, Belov manages to find more speed and increase his advantage over Colapinto in 2nd place to over 1 second. In the meantime, Vidalis is extremely close to Hajar and tries several times to overtake him, however, without success. With 8 minutes left till the end of the race, Jose Garfias and Dino Van Hoff in the back positions crash and are out. The safety car enters the track, and at the restart, positions do not change. Belov is still leading the field, Colapinto is in 2nd position, and Saucy is in 3rd. And this is exactly the order in which they will cross the finish line. Mikhail Belov with his 2nd win of the season. In the overall standings, Gregoire Saucy increases his advantage on 2nd place Hadrien David to 78 points. The Swiss only needs 22 points from the last 2 race weekends to conquer the title. The penultimate round of the FIA European Autocross Championship took place in Maggiore, Italy. Johnny Foyade came out on top in the Super Buggy category. Frenchman Florent Tafani took the lead in the overall standings with his 2nd place. Before the last race weekend in Spain, he is only 3 points ahead of Latvian Ervins Grenčis. Jakub Novotny won the Buggy 1600 category. Here too, the fight for the title is very close. Dutchman Timo Paler only came 5th, but that was enough to take over 1st place in the overall standings. He is now 6 points ahead of Kevin Peters from Luxembourg. So excitement is guaranteed before the last races in Molarusa. With 2 wins and a 4th place finish at the Sachsenring, Hamburg's Tim Tremnitz has made the fight for the ADAC Formula 4 Championship title exciting once again. With 2 race weekends to go, the 16-year-old is now just 35 points behind championship leader Oliver Bierman from Great Britain. As both drivers are in top form at the moment, an exciting final is guaranteed. At the penultimate round of this year's FIA European Hill Climb Championship, a top-class field of drivers took on the 5-kilometer-long course in Ilirska Bistrica, Slovenia. In Category 1, Simone Fagioli had a great weekend. With his Norma M20 FC, he was the only driver who stayed under 2 minutes and 5 seconds. In his 2nd run, he even set a new course record and was ultimately able to celebrate the overall victory with a lead of 3 seconds. His eternal rival, Christian Merli, had the 2nd best time. After a great 2nd run, French driver Sébastien Petit completed the podium, finishing in 3rd place. In Category 1, Austrian driver Karl Schagerl in his VW Golf Rally impressed the audience, especially in his first run when he surprised the international competitors, setting a new course record for touring cars. After a hard battle, the Polish driver Dubaj was able to secure second place just ahead of Dan Mikl from the Czech Republic. The FIA European Rally Trophy is the most accessible international rally competition. It's a real opportunity to compete, to learn, and to improve rally skills against strong opponents. Martin Šešks had his big ERT moment in 2018. At just 19 years old, the Latvian won the ERT3 and ERT class for cars that are two-wheel drive, an important intermediate goal on a career path for someone who comes from a rally-mad family.
Well, the interesting part is that we are rally drivers in third generation in my family. It all started with my grandfather when he started rallying in 1960s. And then in 1965, he basically organized the first rally in our hometown, Liepaja. And now it is, I think, one of the best European Rally Championship events there.
The next step on the career ladder followed immediately, participating in the Junior World Rally Championships, a big but difficult step.
My first year in JWRC wasn't what I expected. The confidence wasn't there, results wasn't there, and then last year I was like climbing up from the like top end, and it was a really special feeling, and especially being in front of some Latvian fans, as the rally was in Estonia, we had Latvian fans as well.
The Rally Estonia 2020 became his coming out party. Martins becomes the first ever Latvian to win the Junior WRC Rally. A great achievement. At the end of the season, he finishes second in the overall championship. And this year, Martin is in the running for the title once again. A great challenge for a 22-year-old young man.
To make it all happen, you need to be everything, just literally everything, like mechanic, race driver, mental coach for yourself, and and it's really complicated to make it all happen and to happen in the right time. But the guys who are making it and delivering the result, well, they are the world champions someday.
With Martins, it's even more complicated. His greatest advantage is also his biggest disadvantage.
I really like to analyze things and to understand what I'm doing, but I'm like a little bit on mathematical side. I'm thinking how fast I can go, but and maybe the car will be sliding, how much I need to brake and everything. And maybe sometimes I'm just too busy in my head making calculations on everything. It would be really nice between being like this and a little bit more trusting on myself, on my feelings.
If Martins can build up this confidence in himself, then he has a very good chance to become the most successful Latvian rally driver of all time. The TRC season is entering its decisive phase. The penultimate race weekend of the season takes place in Jarama, just outside Spain's capital of Madrid. In the overall standings, Norbert Kish has the lead with 175 points. Sasha Lenz is in second place, 26 points behind, and Adam Lachko is in third place. And Kish can extend his overall lead in race 1 of the 4 races the teams have to complete this weekend. It's again the lights to flag victory for the Hungarian driver, his 9th win of the season. Sasha Lenz finishes in second place, Jochen Hahn in third. The second race of the first day is much more competitive. Steffi Halm is in the pole position, number 77 Renee Reinhardt next to her, and Andre Kurzem, number 11, starts from the third position. The Team Schwaben truck driver has a great start to the race. Behind her, Andre Kurzem immediately attacks Reinhardt. And he conquers second place when Reinhardt leaves the track and crashes into the tire barriers. Jochen Hahn has technical problems and slows down. Shortly afterwards, the six-time champion drops out. Steffi Holm looks to be in an extremely competitive position, keeping the top 7 trucks behind her. Further back in the field, there's a hard battle for position. 3 Brits fighting bumper to bumper. Halfway through the race, Andre Kurzem attacks Steffi Holm, and the German driver manages to overtake her. He takes the lead. Immediately, the 30-year-old pulls away, while Steffi Holm comes under pressure from Spanish driver Antonio Albacete. Stefan Faas makes a mistake and leaves the track, and Anthony Janic in his bright yellow MAN truck manages to make a pass on him. Andre Kurzem wins race 2. Steffi Holm manages to defend her second place. Antonio Albacete comes in third. Andre Kurzem with his 3rd win of the season. Race 3 on the next day is delayed by 2 hours because of oil spilled on the track. The race is started under a yellow flag. After 3 full-course yellow flag laps, Kish leads the field. He and home favorite Antonio Albacete break off from the chasing pack. But it's the battle for 3rd place that keeps the fans on the edge of their seats. Jochen Hahn relentlessly attacking Adam Lachko, but the Czech driver defends his position very well. Also, number 11, Andre Kurzem, is having a great battle with the young Frenchman Théo Calvet. The weather conditions worsen while Jochen Hahn is still on the tail end of Adam Lachko. The wet conditions pose difficulties for some drivers. Jose Rodriguez is going through the gravel on the grass, but luckily avoids the wall. Then Anthony Janic also leaves the track but makes it back safely. At the front, Norbert Kish celebrates an unchallenged victory. Antonio Albacete with a great second place finish in front of his home crowd, and Adam Lachko secures 3rd place. But an important win for Norbert Kish and the next stop towards winning the title for the sympathetic Hungarian driver. Adam Lachko stays with his 3rd place finish in the hunt for the title. Number 20, Théo Calvet, has the pole position for the last race of the weekend. From the start, Andre Kurzem in the 2nd position is attacked by Steffi Holm. In her truck with the number 44, she manages to overtake him with a great maneuver. Her next goal, narrowing the gap to Théo Calvet. Meanwhile, Jochen Hahn and Adam Lachko battle for 4th place. Hahn is trying to squeeze by on the inside in the hairpin corner. At the back of the field, Luke Garrett touches Heinrich Clemens Hecker and spins him around. Anthony Janic has a front row seat to observe the incident. The track is now almost completely dry, but only almost. There are still some slippery spots. Rene Reinhardt is feeling the effects of this. Jochen Hahn tries to attack Andre Kurzem, who goes wide but has the speed to stay in front. Lachko seizes the moment and overtakes Hahn in the next corner on the inside. It is the most beautiful day in the truck racing life of Théo Calvet. For the first time in his career, the 20-year-old youngster wins a truck race. Steffi Holm tried everything to catch him, but has to settle for a very good 2nd place. After his win in race 2, Andre Kursum finishes again on the podium, taking 3rd place. Norbert Kisch crosses the finish line in 5th place, but that is enough to extend his lead in the overall standings. Before the last race weekend in Misano, he has a comfortable lead of 46 points over 2nd place Sascha Lenz. Adam Lachko is still in 3rd with 179 points. That's it for today. On our next episode of FIA Pure Motorsport, we'll get to know the charismatic Andrea Zippo Zivian a little bit better. We'll go to Monza to crown the champion of the Formula Regional. And we'll show you the highlight of the hill climb season, the Hill Climb Master in Portugal. Till next time, take care everybody, and ciao.